Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Michael J.
All the War of the Sparks are revealed. All of them. All the wars, all the sparks, every card is out there. Like the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, although, man, I don't know. The surprises keep coming. Is it really just the Japanese packs are the only ones that just the Planeswalkers have alternate art half the time? Like, what's the deal with that?
I didn't know that.
Why isn't that? Why? I don't know. That's like wild, but like, God, Japanese packs seem amazing.
But nobody's seen an American pack yet, so who knows?
Yeah, who does know? But man, this set is something else. I mean, obviously we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but with good reason. And there is no shortage of additional. There's just so many more cards to talk about.
Yeah, all the cards. You can talk about any card you wanted. They're all out there.
Dude, this set is messed up. Here's a note to begin on. I thought of you as soon as I saw this card. Wall of Runes. It's just blue for a 0/4 defender. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1.
That is a solid little wall there. I like it.
Dude, I actually think this card has got a home. Outside of just like your fantasies. It's, dude, like Arcadius the Strategist.
Yeah? Yeah, it turns it into a little Doran action, huh?
Yeah, so first of all, obviously, like, what more could you want, right? Like, set up your mana for your 3-color deck, find your Arcadius the Strategist. It's a 1-mana 4/4, draws a card, right? Like, all that's amazing, right? But there's other combos now for the Arcadius Strategist deck, right?
Well, actually, even just the Wall of the Runes versus some other cards that are like it, before you even jump into the Arcadius the Strategist deck, right? Like, this card is an outstanding blocker just at 0/4 for 1, but I think it has different implications than other cards that we might have played in the past that were outstanding blockers. Just a 1/3 for 2, for example. Right? This is like vastly better than a 1/3 for 2, but specifically, I think, in a deck that might have, Deafening Clarion.
And how do you feel about this one compared to the Kraken? Because I know you're not above playing the Kraken. This is the 1-cost 0/4.
I think that Scry 1 is a pretty good ability to stick on a card like this.
Me too.
I think that, but versus before, like if you're going to play an Omen Speaker, or Augur Bolus is a better example, right? Because that card is hot and new in this set. Like those cards are both just outstanding cards that you might play to slow down like a red aggro deck in a blue deck. But like this one is like not nearly as good in like just like a mono blue spells deck or something. You just not getting that much value. But what you really want to do is to play Wall of Runes, Scry, which is insane. Like the Wall of Runes for just 1 blue mana is like holding off a creature that's like anything smaller than 4x for as long as you want to, unless they use a removal spell on it, and then forces them to play multiple creatures. Right? They have to. They can't get past it, and then you just Clary on them and automatically get the 2 for 1. And then you've still got the Wall of Runes. Now they start over. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's not trivial to get rid of a 0/4. Like whatever they're doing is going to cost more than 1 mana for them to get rid of normally.
Well, yeah, typically they're going to have to use a real card on it, right? Like nobody is like going to play cards like Vraska's Finisher in Constructed, right? Right, so like, I did a little damage to that already. That's not going to happen in Constructed. So they're going to have to actually...
what they're going to do is they're going to go like lightning strike the guy you block after you block.
Absolutely.
And you're so happy about it.
They use 2 mana and like one of their key removal cards to kill your stupid 1 mana Wall of Runes.
You got a scry.
You did.
And you blocked their guy one time.
Probably saved 7 damage or something already. It was awesome. This guy's great.
So,
thank you for thinking of me when you saw this somewhat unassuming but probably great card.
Dude, so here's a card that looks like it should be part of the Arcadius the Strategist deck, but probably isn't. Huatli the Sun's Heart. 2 and then a Celestia hybrid for a 7 loyalty planeswalker. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And then the -3 is you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. So while it's true that the Arcadia Strategist deck is just loaded with creatures that are wanting to do toughness and damage instead of power, it doesn't make the defenders able to attack.
Well, I mean, also, if you're going to play, I mean, do you need a redundant thing to like multiple ways to do this same ability?
I think so, because you're not going to always have Arcadia Strategist, are you?
I guess that's true.
Don't you need like one more card? Because otherwise your deck's like all 0/4s and stuff.
Well, depends on how many games you want to win out of 10 or 100 or how many you end up playing. But you might be right. I think I don't know. I think maybe I would err on the side of like more ways to find Arcades than more ways to do the same thing as Arcades but worse. I think that's what I would do.
So are you talking something like Neoform? Or are you talking more like the Board the Weatherlight?
Yeah, Neoform is a great example of something that you might want to do to this. But like any kind of, creature search. I mean, even like what's that new green 2 casting cost card?
Well, there's also the Arcbow.
Oh yeah, I love the Arcbow. Love that card. But I was thinking like the Bond is a pretty good card. Bond of Flourishing, 1 and a G for sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card. A dragon is a permanent, and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order and gain 3 life. Like, this is like a solid little card, right?
That's a solid little card. It's like Revitalize, man.
Yeah, it's very revitalized, yeah.
This is finally Lich's Mastery, man. This is okay. I'm on the case. So, dude, we play 4. So we like the Bond can help find Lich's Mastery. We can play Bond of Flourishing and Revitalize. Are you kidding me, dude?
Do we play Bolas's Citadel also?
Maybe that could be okay.
You wouldn't mind turning this over with Bolas's Citadel, would you?
No, of course. But like, there's also the Basilica Bellhaunt.
Oh my God,
that's totally a permanent.
Oh, right. Here's another that card.
Here's another permanent. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. Gain a lot of life, depending on how many other permanents you have.
I mean, Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord can gain life by himself. He doesn't do it particularly quickly, but he is. Well,
he does. You put him down, and then all your creatures.
Man. No. I mean, he's just by himself. He's just like ting +2, ting +2.
Plus, he can get a Johnny's Pride Mate out of the graveyard.
Oh, that would be hot. I think Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord is awesome, also, though. Anyway,
dude, you could put same. But dude, man, Bond of Flourishing. It's time finally. Lich's Mastery. And maybe Bolas's Citadel or whatever, but it could be time.
So I like this. So we got like 8 Revitalizes that are helping to fix our early game draw. Is our deck just like Abzan?
Holy moly, dude! What if we do a plane wide celebration? So this one's 5 green sorcery. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. You're gosh darn right, I may. You can create a 2/2 citizen creature token that is all colors. Great. Return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand.
Like a Lich's Mastery?
Well, how did it get there?
Somebody countered it, maybe? Made us discard it.
Okay. Proliferate, and you gain 4 life. This is a draw 16. You may choose the same mode more than once.
Yeah.
Draw 16. Dude, that's a little bit of a combo right there.
Well, what if I just had that with my Bolas's Citadel?
Yeah.
I do the experimental frenzy action with that on top.
And then you hit a land and you're like bricked. Dude, Lich's Mastery. Bolas's Citadel is fine as a 1-of or something, but Lich's Mastery's got soul.
Oh, I mean, but I'm just asking, are we like Abzan Lich's Mastery? What are we? Are we like 4-color?
Yeah, Abzan.
I'm into it.
Proliferate. Proliferate is a crazy ability to be able to do 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, this card is... you got to be playing this card in an unfair strategy, right? Because this is like... First I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is very, very Primal Command. And then I'm like, but it's 7. Like, 7 is so many manas.
Yeah, but this card's like a lot of win the game type of shit. I hope you can Transformer sound in retrospect.
Yeah, we'll get that one, don't worry.
But, yeah, I don't know. This card's definitely not for a person who's aspiring to just hang out, right? Like, proliferate 4 times or gain 16 life or whatever. With some of the cards in the set, like Casualties of War, the whole destroy target artifact, destroy target creature, destroy target enchantment, destroy target land, destroy target planeswalker, choose 1 or more. I choose more.
Like I said, I think that card's always going to at least be 2, right? Because you're going to get a land in something else most of the time.
What do you think of the PV preview? The Amass Necrotal. Is that your jam?
Wait, what is this? What Amass Necrotal?
So it's 2 and a black, right? It's 3 mana. And then it's give something -2/-2 and Amass 2.
Oh, I like it. That's like
right,
that's like pretty much literally an Amass Necrotal, like you said.
But that's what you want, right?
Yeah, I'm in. Separately, I heard Marshall Sutcliffe say something similar, which is like there's the Amass Boomerang. Which one's that? It's like 1 and a B, 1 and a U rather.
Yeah, that's the Luis perspective. The mini mana war.
Yeah,
the Luis Marshall comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, first I was just like, oh, I was comparing it to, like, Voyage's End or whatever. I'm like, how much do I care about a mass versus, like, a small scry? How much do I care about sorcery versus instant? But when I start thinking about that as a mana war, I love it. Combine this with the Amass Necrotal, but this is like a, I don't know,
dude,
might be a real strategy.
What are you getting out of amassing? It's, like, worse.
No, I'm just getting a bigger and bigger guy.
That's not good. Instead of okay, how about this? What's better? Make 2 1/1s or Grizzly Bears?
I mean, for the same amount of mana for like 2.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Make 2 1/1s has historically been more successful in strategies than Grizzly Bears.
How about make 3 1/1s or a trained Armadon? Gnarled Mass.
Oh,
Gnarled Mass or make 3 1/1s.
A Gnarled Mass was very good. 3 1/1s for 3 mana was called the best card in the format by players. It's also won a bunch of Pro Tours.
I'm just saying.
Like, if you give those 3...
Spreading out your investment... If you don't have to pay a VIG, spreading out your investment is generally better. Man. Amass is a drawback, dude.
What if it was 3 flyers? Do you ever do that? 3 flyers for 3 mana? That's sick.
Yeah, but it's also way better than a 3/3 flyer for 3.
Yeah, no one would even play a 3/3 flyer.
So I'm just saying, dude.
Like, they could try to get you to play it, but you wouldn't do it.
I'm just saying that unless you got a way to capitalize on it, Amass cards have diminishing returns. You're not supposed to stack them, man. You're supposed to keep them separated.
You're making me not love the thing that I love.
No, you should still love it. It's just like...
I should just leave it? I should just go out for a pack of smokes?
No. Just moderation, man. It's like you just want to have ice cream 7 times in a day. You get diminishing returns on the 7th serving of ice cream in the same day, dude.
I don't know. I have never tried that.
Spread out the ice cream. Don't just stack it up.
So here's the thing. I was really just trying to like think about all the different cards that said Amass on them. Just jam them all in my list. That was my plan. All the Amasses. So if they give you like, you know, an Amass counterspell, even if it's just Lazotep plating, and an Amass Mana Warren, an Amass Necrotal, and an Amass Bitter Blossom, and an Amass Pyroclasm, you know, an Amass Draglord's prerogative.
I think you might be looking at the amass cards a little a way that will be amusing in retrospect.
Yeah, well, the thing is, maybe. Like, now I'm thinking, like, do I want any of these effects enough? Because -2/-2 on only one guy for 3 mana is not very good. Like, you need it to be on all the guys for 3 mana for it to be good. And so, exchanging one zombie army token for -2/-2 on all other guys is not a great return for me.
Yeah. So, I don't know what else to tell you. It's not that great of a return for you.
I'm gonna prove you wrong, Patrick. I'm gonna make amass a thing. It's gonna be like fetch.
All right, I believe you.
Dude,
okay. So here's a draw too. Narset, Parter of Veils, 1 blue. Legendary Planeswalker Narset, 5 loyalty. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Fair. -2, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Dude, why isn't this card like Jace Beleren?
What do you mean? Why is it not like? Oh, you mean like in terms of its impact, like it's in terms of its potential popularity?
Okay, so like you throw this down, right?
Yeah.
So to begin with, your opponent can't draw extra cards. Well, this is in play.
This is very good against people
who want to draw extra cards.
Look at
right?
anybody with like I don't know some kind of a 4 mana draw 2 at the end of your turn kind of effect, or perhaps a cycling card. You can't draw anything.
But like you put it out for 3 mana, 1 blue, and you -2 it, and now it's at 3 loyalty, which is even more than Jace has when he's drawing your card, right? And it's look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them. The best non-creature, non-land card from the top 4 cards of your deck is better than a random card.
Usually, I mean, assuming there's one there, right?
Yeah, but build your deck in such a way. Dude, it's not hard. You're already playing Augur of Bolas.
Chase helped you get your land drops sometimes. Like that was
this finds Opt.
All right.
But then the second time you use Narset, you're still at 1 loyalty, like a Jace Beleren at 1, right? But you have a second. You've dug 8 cards deep looking for the 2 best, right? And you can find Planeswalkers with Narset.
Oh, yeah, you can find, like, enchantments, right? You don't have to only find instants and sorceries, which cards like this sometimes have those limitations.
And then what's more, Narset in play with 1 loyalty is still stopping your opponent from drawing more than 1 card each turn, right? So, like, first of all, there's hosing all the people who might play stuff like Chemister's Insight. But if you have any kind of a, like, say, Howling Mind type of effect, right? Like, if you had, like, picture if you had a Miko Koro and you just had a Narset, right?
Yeah. Super unfair.
Right. So, but, like, if this is just sitting in play, making your opponent unable to draw more than 1 card each turn, that's already a powerful permanent. And what's more, if you ever proliferate, you can surprise, boom, get an extra card out of this. So, I don't know, man. This card looks real good to me.
I think it's all right. I think that static ability is really I mean, maybe do you think this is just a great sideboard card, Patrick? Like, what if you side?
I would play. No, I think it's even. Well, yeah, it's a good sideboard card too. But I think you can main deck this card.
Do you know who this card beats up on in a super unfair way? Like the poor Rixmati Reveler guys. You know, like the people who are like, Rixmati Reveler into Risk Factor. Like, this wasn't meant for them.
Can you imagine you just go turn 3 Narset and then turn 4 you just go like Days Undoing or whatever? Oh. If you just Time Twister the turn after you play Narset, your opponent is not happy.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This card seems really good.
Yeah, you can get like a really, really lopsided advantage if you have like some weird effects like that.
What do you think of Flux Channeler? The 2 and a blue when you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate?
it's. Do you think like it's a good like just like the body is not attractive, right? Like it's kind of too little, like no impact immediately. It's not like a trinket mage, right? Like a trinket mage for the same mana gets you pretty solid return. Flux Channeler, you just had the privilege of paying 3 mana, and hopefully you're gonna get some proliferation value later if you have already set up a game that lets you benefit from that. And it's probably just going to get shocked though.
So what if you were playing a deck that had Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista, Mox, like Chrome Mox, or not Chrome Mox, but Mox Opal, Springleaf Drum, maybe, like, because if you have some 0s and 1s and stuff, right, and you just have some like +1/+1 counters all over the place from like Steelbound Overseer or Bun Ravager, Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista, any of that, could that be a thing?
I'm still a little skeptical. It's pretty expensive before you get anything going. And then what if you just draw one of those Hangerback Walkers, Walking Ballistas? Doesn't even trigger.
Well, yeah, but your opponent's dead in 1 turn, is the idea.
Yeah. So I guess he's giving like such a wide spectrum
with haste
boost. Yeah.
Okay, well, in Standard, what about this guy as a way to ultimate your Planeswalkers in your Planeswalker deck?
I think that's the idea, right? Like, maybe he's good if you're like not playing a lot of creatures in the main deck, so maybe your opponent will side out a lot of their creature removal, like kind of a switcheroo creature. But I just think, like, just as, in terms of like a regular guy that you would play in your main deck, I mean, is there every deck can handle a 2/2 for 3 before it gets them. If you can't stop it before it's going to get you, they were going to get you somehow anyway.
Huh. So you don't think this is Blue Monastery Mentor?
Blue Monastery Mentor. So by Monastery Mentor, you mean like this abusively powerful creature that generates a ton of material and then makes the material bigger, right? This is a creature that makes existing material bigger but does not generate any material, and in fact only makes certain types of material bigger. No, I do not think this is Blue Monastery Mentor. If perhaps only because he also is not an insane threat himself. Unlike Monastery Mentor, who's just like gonna kill you himself, even if his other guys don't kill you. No. I'm gonna go with the no.
Okay, that's fair. Can we get Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, in like, what's the best way to mill yourself out? This is that one blue. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. +1, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, draw a card. -8, draw 7 cards. Then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game.
Do you think this card is more in it for the kill shot, or just like it's not just okay to be in it for the other abilities, like just drawing extra cards and drawing 7 cards?
I think you got to have realistic chances of killing people, because like a 4-cost Planeswalker that all it does is draws a card. Not really that, like, there's just better options. Now, if you just get so much value out of self-mill anyway, then great. But if that's true, then you're already setting up some amount of combo kill equity. Yeah.
Why do you think they had to put the if your library has no cards in it, you win the game twice? Oh, because if he kills himself, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, because you ultimate and he's not in play anymore.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. I think like this is just a sweet card to side in. Like, I think it's a great sideboard card. Like, it's just Personal Howling Mine. I think it's way better at Personal Howling Mine than Chandra, and I think Chandra's a really good card.
Yep. No, yeah, I think this is a fine card, but I think you're going to want to kill people. Like, that's part of the thing. That's part of the appeal.
See, I feel like this is a kind of card that a lot of the time it's just going to be, in resolves. It's just like la-di-da, getting some value, and then some point in the future, your opponent looks at you, looks at your Jace, looks back at you, and is just like, oh, shoot. And they're like, you kind of have your grin on your face, and they actually have to deal with the Jace because it could kill shot them now. But I don't think that it's just about like, oh, man, how many turns till kill shot? I don't think that. I think it's just like, here's a sweet person on Howling Mine. Sometimes I get the kill shot.
I want to deck myself as fast as possible, man.
I mean, in some formats, it's not hard, right? Like,
Demonic Consultation.
Yeah, Demonic Consultation will do it quick. Hermit Druid could do it quick.
Yeah.
Which formats are those cards legal?
There is no such thing.
I mean, what about Dredgers? Dredgers can do it, right? And then he actually interacts with dredging.
It's a slow way to do it. I want to do the whole kit and caboodle. So what's up with this Narset's Reversal? Blue instant, copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to its owner's hand. You may choose new targets for the copy. So
it's like a remand and a fork, right?
Yeah, but like if you've got I think you can use Narset's Reversal and stack it with the Rao combo stuff we were talking about the other week. Like if you have multiple Narset's Reversal, for instance, if you have two Narset's Reversals and then somebody plays something, you can get the party started. Or if you have a Narset's Reversal and a Expansion Explosion. So I don't know.
Do you think Narset's Reversal is more likely to be targeting your opponent's cards or your cards? You think like if you're going to play this, especially when you play this in a Ral deck, you are intending to do it to your own self, right?
Yeah, if you're playing it in a Ral deck specifically with the option to do it to your opponent, but like it's actually super sick there because of the ability to do stuff like tactically do things like remand your own spell and replay it, but you already have a copy, Like it's better than remand for remanding your own spells. And then it's super dope when your opponent tries to counter your Nexus of Fate. But like there's this other part of Narset's Reversal where you're just trying to use it as a remand on your opponent's stuff, where you're sort of remanding it, but then instead of you drawing a card, you're getting a zero-cost version of their spell.
Is this like the sweetest thing ever against Nexus of Fate?
It's pretty sweet.
One of the things that's awesome about it is sticking it back in the opponent's hand is kind of like, awesome because, Nexus of Fate is really hard to deal with permanently. Like it's always just not staying in the graveyard, so, putting it back in their hand, it seems like a zone where that's a good place for them to want it, but not if you stole their extra turn. Now, that's pretty awesome.
You do got to be careful though, because if they might have 14 mana.
I mean, if they've got a Wilderness Reclamation in play, like this doesn't really solve your problems, right? But if they don't, you might have just gotten them good.
So now that we've got a little bit more context, what's your pick out of the God Eternals?
I think maybe. I mean, Oketra is so powerful. Like, I think Ronus is really powerful too. But I mean, having thought about it more, I think Oketra it's just so steady, right? Like Ilharg the Razebore, I think has maybe the highest. I mean, I don't know. God Eternal Ronus has got to have the highest ceiling, right? But you have to have some setup for that. Ilharg the Razebore is a really high ceiling, but like it's not like a steady thing. You're not like, oh man, look at how good my average game will be with Ilharg the Razebore. You're just telling stories about how badly you just.
Yeah, but that's not a God Eternal, is it?
Well, no, he's in the block though. Like,
yeah, but he's on the other team, right?
All right. So
I don't know. Sure, maybe he counts.
I think it's got to be Oketra. Oketra is asking for so little and gives you so much. Like, if that ability was just like make a 1/1 instead of make a 4/4, you might look twice at it.
So you're not really feeling God Eternal Kefnet?
Kefnet would be my next pick. I mean, I'm really down on Bantu. I don't like Bantu at all, but Kefnet's all right. I mean, Kefnet's, to me, God Eternal Kefnet's defining feature is that it's 4 mana instead of 5, unlike the other God Eternals. I mean, also, like a 4 mana, like Urnham Djinn sized creature, I'm like, oh, what else is going on here? Also has flying, that's pretty good. But, you know, I think in terms of overall power, overall impact, gotta be God Eternal Oatcatcher for me.
Sure. Yeah, that's my pick too, but don't want it to be that way.
You want it to be Kefnet?
Like, I mean, in my heart. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it's Ronus.
Ronus is really powerful.
I think so.
Tell me what you think about I don't like Bantu at all. Am I just like misreading this card? I just do not like it.
No. Bantu's modest.
Yeah, it's kind of poopy.
Modest to an extreme. You got to be in for Tyrant Scorn, though, right?
Tyrant Scorn, you know, the new Smother, right?
To say the least.
So Tyrant Scorn is a black and a blue, and it's got choose one, instant. Destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less, which is very Smother-like for the same, Smother casting cost. But in addition to that, it has returned target creature to its owner's hand, so it's also Boomerang-like. Yeah, I like this card very much. I think it's.
How do you feel about? Okay.
It's got 2 different ways to kill an army.
How do you feel about Tyrant Scorn alongside your Snapcaster Mage and Vendilion Click and your Spellstutter Sprite?
Oh, so you are just super promoting Tyrant Scorn already. You're sending Tyrant Scorn to the NBA playoffs.
I'm a buyer of Tyrant Scorn in Modern.
I think Tyrant Scorn can earn a spot on the bench and distinguish himself real well. I think it's possible.
On the bench?
He's there.
People play Smother. Blue-black decks literally already play Smother.
This card is clearly better than Smother in a blue-black deck. No question.
Like, don't get me wrong. Their Pendlehaven and their Mutavault don't help cast it. It's not strictly better. But, dude, they're playing Smother already, and they've got such great things to bounce.
Yeah, I think this card is pretty good. I agree. But it's not like, it's not, shaking the earth to its foundations.
Okay, in Standard, you would play Smother.
I would play this.
And this can bounce your Augur of Bolas.
Everything's just about the Augur of Bolas to you these days.
Everything's just about you can kill their army 2 different ways.
Their army is dead. I will have the only army. To be fair, I really will have the only army. No one else will have an army.
No, lots of people will. It's just they're going to have a 2/2 army or a 1/1 army.
I'm going to be the only one with like an 11/11 army that's getting blocked by their 1/1 army.
That's probably true. So you're not excited about this card, huh? I thought you liked cheap cards.
I do. I like it. It's a good card. It's not. I mean, it's not one of the cards that's like driving me mad with excitement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compare that to Despark, another 2 casting cost instant in 2 different colors. How do you feel about Despark?
I mean, it's pretty efficient. White, black, instant, exile, target permanent with converted mana cost 4 or greater. But, like, first of all, I think Despark is, like, worse in Modern. So many of the cards cost less than 4.
Well, yeah, for sure this card is... Well, tell you what if you were playing a standard Esper deck? Might you play Tyrant Scorn and Despark next to one another, and you would have the bases covered?
Yeah.
These are for creatures 0 through 3. This is for stuff 4 or greater. And we're exiling it. We're exiling that Wilderness Reclamation. The Despark, I guess that's actually what the narrative is on the name of the card. The fact that this zingers pretty much every Planeswalker someone would play, well, maybe not every, right? The 3 casting cost planeswalkers will not be desparked, but all like the super powerful, super exciting ones are going to get messed up by this card.
Oh, sort of. You're going to save 1 mana. I mean, it's like, whatever. It's fine. It's just, we'll see. I mean, this is a fine card. It's just, I don't know that, like, oh, their Planeswalker came into play and it did something when it came into play. I messed them up because I spent 2 mana killing their Planeswalker. There's so many ways to kill a Planeswalker for 2 mana.
All right. I guess the Elder Spell is a more exciting way to kill a Planeswalker for 2 mana.
That will mess them up.
Yeah. How many of the Elder Spells do you think you're going to have in your first main deck for War of the Spark Standard? Main deck, how many?
1.
I put myself on 3. I'm into it. I'm going to play Nico Bolas, I think. Lots.
Well, same, but I thought that's a given. There's only one true master.
Is it the army that you make after casting Commence the Endgame? Because that's my master. He's gonna be so big. 8/8.
Okay, what about Niv Mizzet Reborn? So we talked about this guy a little bit more, but now we got enough context. What do you think about this guy's chances?
I just think he's just not consistent. Like,
okay, let's say
standard. Like, so here's the thing: are you going to play him with like Ilharg the Raise Boar? That works, right? You can like toss him out there with the Raise Boar. He gets his.
You are just Raise Boaring like nothing. Like,
yeah,
dude.
I think it's more plausible to throw Niv Mizzet Reborn out with the Raise Boar than it is to actually cast him. That's why. This is a crazy casting cost.
Only for the week. So, look, dude. Niv Mizzet Reborn is a 5-cost 6/6 draw 10, right? So
let's go with the 5-cost 6/6 Muldrifter. Let's go with that because that would already be pretty good.
Muldrifter. This is good. Okay. First of all, what if you could really play a deck that has 3 cards roughly of each of the 10 guilds? Like, that's pretty good, right?
I mean, I don't know.
That's like if you could actually do that, that's a draw 5.
Yeah, but like, I don't even know if I could name enough cards that I would want to play.
Okay, let me help you.
Across all these different guilds.
Yep. Let's start with, how do you feel about Deafening Clarion as our Boros card?
I like it. I was thinking Feather because they're both flyers.
No, we got to keep the casting cost under control, man. No,
Feather costs literally the same as Deafening Clarion.
No, Feather is double white.
Oh, I see what you mean. Got it.
Mortify for Orzhov. How do you feel about Mortify?
I'm cool on it. I think if you said, how do I feel about Otakaya, I'd be like, yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about Knight of Autumn as our Celestia card?
Really? I can't do better than that?
Sadly, no. Celestia is a weak spot.
No, I'm not into it.
Okay, we can only play 2 of that. That's fine. We'll only play 2 Knight of Autumns.
I'm not... Seriously? I can't believe that's the best we can do.
It's tough. How about Teferi, Hero of Dominaria for our Azorius card?
I think there's going to be so many Azorius cards that I would be interested in playing. I might just play an Azorius deck.
How about Hydroid Crassus as our Simic card? That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, you just know the part of the back of my neck to scratch. That's
okay, what about
with these words?
What about Hostage Taker for the blue-black card?
Oh, you are very clever. You are a clever mage.
Dude, Hostage Taker, man. Hostage Taker. Okay, so we've got some good options. Ionize if we want permission. Rowell's Outburst if we want a little, something. Right, but there's also lots of other cards. We're not going to be short there. For black-green, it's a little tricky. So you could do something like play Assassin's Trophy if you wanted.
That's a good card.
It is, and if you're willing to, I don't like the mana on it, But like Death Sprout is kind of a dope card.
I think Death Sprout is great in this strategy.
Right.
It might actually help you get to play Niv Mizzet Reborn.
Right. Vraska Relic Seeker is a little expensive because I think Hydroid Kraus is going to eat up that equity.
Yeah, but like, you can't always have a fistful of Hydroid Crassus.
Right. So for Black-Red, it's a little lean, but Angras Rampage is probably fine.
There's a lot of Black-Red cards you might want to play, right? Like you might have a Theater of Horrors. You wouldn't play that?
Nah. Nope, not that kind of deck. Theater of Horrors is the wrong card. Like, why? You don't. Like, dude, Niv Mizzet is drawing us 10 cards. We don't need Theater of Horrors. We don't need
one card every 3 turns.
Tyrant Scorn is a blue-black card we might consider, in addition to Hostage Taker. You know, maybe some mix. I kind of like Hostage Taker better, though. Red-green is not great. But
we have to be able to do better than Knight of Autumn.
So we've got Cindervines and Gruul Spellbreaker.
Cindervines is great.
Okay, there we go. Cindervines. So
we've got a sideboard card that we might have sometimes in our deck.
But here's the thing: I'm not convinced that we need to draw 10 cards off of Niv Mizzet. Like, if we just draw 4 cards, we're going to be so happy.
Gruul Spellbreaker. Like, that's terrible.
We don't need to play all the guilds, though. Maybe that one we'll let Gruul sit the meeting out. Dude, I don't know, man. I think the Seif is going to play Niv Mizzet, and he's going to top 8 a Grand Prix with it.
Really? I think the Mono Blue Temple on the map. I mean, it existed, but he really put it on the map, you know?
So here's where Niv Mizzet really shines. Modern. Dude. Do you have any idea how good of options you have in Modern for getting the best guild cards?
It's very different. Like, there's like, I don't know, 6 times as many guild cards that you could play.
Okay, so how about for Boros, Lightning Helix?
That's a good place to start. I like that one.
How about for Orzhov, Tide Hollow Sculler?
Is that really the one that you want?
I don't know. There's other options. There's a ton, right? So what about for I guess for Celestia, Kitchen Finks, or maybe I don't know. I like Knight of Autumn.
Kitchen Finks is great, and it's also easy on the mana.
Yeah.
So,
and then alternatively, if you want a 2-drop, there's the Voice of Resurgence also.
Do you know who I really love in that is available in Modern but not in Standard? The guy with Flash that shoots everybody. What's his name?
Is it Staticaster? You like that better?
Staticaster.
See, I think Electrolyze is just going to be pretty good for us.
Oh, that's great in this strategy because you can fix stuff on the way. Yeah,
right.
That's really good. Yeah.
So for Azorius, how do you feel about Spell Queller?
I was just thinking Azorius Charm.
I don't know. It's not that good in Modern right now, I don't think.
Yeah, but I just want to draw into my land because I have this impossible to cast Niv Mizzet Reborn. So
no, it's so easy in Modern, man. You can play Pillars of Perun and stuff.
Ugh.
Pillars of Perun, tap for a mana of any color that can only be used for multicolor cards. Don't mind if I do.
As someone who tried to make a lot of Pillars of Perun decks in Modern, I can tell you, playing regular fetch land-based mana bases might just be better. Just get the land you want.
Well, Pillars of Perun is perfect in this deck. It casts everything. It's just Utopia.
All right. I buy it.
It's not the creature one. It's just gold cards. Bloodbraid Elf. That is a Gruul card.
Oh, that is a Gruul card.
Yeah.
Can I have Lightning?
If you want, I don't think we really want to. I think you really want to have like Terminator, Dreadbore, or something.
What if I just had...
Or Colligan's Command. Colligan's Command's pretty good.
Yeah, I would not mind Colligan's Commanding off of my Bloodbraid Elf. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So here's an exciting one. You know what your Simic card is? Bring to Light.
Bring to Light? Is that the tutor?
Yeah, into play. It's just easier to cast Niv Mizzet Reborn. Well, it's not easier. It's the same. But but you have the buyout of if you're not there, you can just go get something else, like a Bloodbraid Elf or something.
Well, you are a genius. I'm in love with this deck now. I mean, can this deck beat anything? I mean, here's the thing.
Dude, this could totally beat like a Grixis or Jeskai card advantage deck.
I mean, so I get it. I'm casting this exciting dragon.
Dude, Fulminator Mage could be your Rakdos card.
Yeah, but I feel like, I mean, this isn't even that much more impressive than the average thing a Tron deck does. And separately, I'm like, I've got a dragon. And then they're just like, empty my hand in your face. And they're like, I was tapped out.
Dude, what if this deck was just like a Hate Bears deck, though? Right? Like, you could be playing like Meddling Mage or Big Daddy Gaddy or whatever, Reflector Mage, something.
Little Daddy Gaddy, maybe.
Yeah.
Let me think about this. It's just a Hate Bears deck, but it drops up.
It goes big sometimes. Yeah, that's how you win.
Okay, again, I'm not doubting that you could draw a lot of cards with the visit in the off chance that you survive long enough to cast it. I'm just not convinced you will win the game. like everybody's just going to kill you.
Okay, here's a modern card, dude. Return to Nature. 1 in a green instant. Choose one. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard.
I mean, this is just cheating. They started with a card that was like a long time celebrated card and then added another mode that you would want to do, right? This is just supernaturalized, right?
This is supernaturalized.
It has a really terrible graveyard hating. I
think this card is better than Naturalize in Modern.
I think this card is at least 33% better than Naturalize. However, that last 33% was not a very, very high percentage.
You don't like this as graveyard hate?
I mean, I'm using a real card. Like, I'm using a full 2-mana instant that I could have used to kill their... I'm going to say Crack Clan Ironworks, but I don't mean that card. And then I'm just getting one card in their graveyard. Like, that's...
So, yeah, the one they Snapcaster Mage.
I mean, I can't...
This is a little bit of options. It's not, like, insane.
It's not horrible. Obviously, this card is going to be gaining some usage as a result of that third clause. I'm just saying it's not a very good return if you really want to fight a graveyard. Versus, all right, here's the thing I might also do. The other thing is that even in Modern, I don't think this is very likely to be a main deck card. Right? So in the universe that you're siding a card that has this functionality, I think you can often do better. You can do better on the first two abilities too. Right? Like, compare this to an Ancient Grudge, but also compare it to Destructive Revelry. Those are very similar to the first two ability, but much better in one way or another. But I think it can still be played.
So where are you? I mean, where are you playing it?
Like, I don't think you'd ever play it main deck, do you? Like, what deck would ever play this main deck that you know of?
That would ever play this main deck?
Yeah.
I mean... Sometimes you just want a little bit of value. No, I think it's not really much of a main deck card.
But it's not.
You'd have to have a very specific. You'd really have to have a specific format.
Yeah, you'd have to know that people were playing a certain way, right? And then
right. Yeah, I mean, Naturalize has been a main deck card before, and Disenchant's been a main deck card before.
Yeah, I mean, but that was like in very, very different time period, and like,
dude, Vintage. You could just play this card in Vintage.
Oh, okay. You actually now you're talking. Disenchant is a widely played card in Legacy. This card is much better than Disenchant.
Well, no, I mean, Disenchant's advantage is that it's white instead of green. If you're going to play a green card, you can just do it for 1 mana and make them gain 4 life or whatever. But this has some extra options, It
has one extra option.
Not gaining 4 life for them.
It has exactly one extra option.
Well, no, it's also the other one option is that they don't gain 4 life, and the other option is their graveyard hate.
You want to know what a mass card I don't think is good enough?
Definitely.
Honor the God Pharaoh. 2 in a red, as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. discard 2 cards, amass 1. I'm sorry, draw 2 cards, amass 1. Wow, that would be terrible if it just discard 3 cards, amass 1 for 3 mana. Yeah, I don't think this one's good enough. I think it's too expensive.
What? Why?
It's like 3 mana.
Yeah. So for 1 mana more than a Tormented Voice, you get your amass on.
Yeah, but I don't think amass in this case is worth... Amass 1, I should say.
Yeah, but you like... Okay, so you're not playing 1 cost slow unsummon, but you like 2 cost slow unsummon amass 1?
I mean... Yeah, I do like it. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I like it a lot. I'm into it.
So how do you reconcile those?
DMs.
How do you reconcile those two obviously wildly contradictory life views?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is when that blue card logs into Instagram, there's going to be a message from me. It's just going to be a wave. It's just going to be a wave, but to be like, hey, I wonder what Michael J was asking about. Oh, I don't know. Maybe 57 of you and your buddies making a deck with me?
So, dude, is there any hope for Jaya Venerated Fire Mage? Or is it just a wrap for that?
I don't think so.
Like, it is a flame tongue, right?
I don't understand Jaya's position in, like, the narrative, right? Like, I feel like Jaya should have some better cards or something.
But, like, well, Jaya comes...
good.
This card's good with Goblin Chain Whirler.
All right, so Jaya Venerated Fire Mage is 5 mana. It's 4 and an R. It's 5 mana. Legendary Planeswalker Jaya. If another red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much +1 to that permanent or player's end. So, you know, it makes your bolts 4, right? That's its passive. It says -2, Jaya Venerated Fire Mage deals 2 damage to any target. It's just like that second ability is just kind of terrible. And like you're basically like 5 mana for 4 damage over the course of 2 turns plus, and you just would never pay 5 mana for the first ability. Like that's crazy. It's crazy. like what kind of horrible universe are you in that this is like, well, team, our grape shot is going to be real good, but we got to waste 5 mana on the way, but at least we're going to get another storm out of it. Give me 2 more rituals. That makes no sense.
What do you think of Lazatop Reaver as a token card? 1 in a black, 1/2, and when it enters the battlefield, amass 1.
So Lazatop Reaver, it's real close to Urgrader power level, which means I love it.
Well, it's a lot better than Urgrader. To begin with, it's like make 2 1/1s, except one of your 1/1s is a 1/2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
And it's got the drawback, obviously, if it has amass. So, like, it's not very good with other amass cards. but like, that's not bad, right? Like, just having some blockers.
I think this guy's all right.
Some sacrifice fodder. That card seems fine to me. Here's a hot take. Lazatop Reaver better than Dreadhorde Invasion. Don't at me.
That is... I was actually thinking about, like, Lazatop Reaver in the amass strategy as redundancy at the 2 in case you didn't have, the beloved Dreadhorde Invasion. But you think the Reaver is better?
I don't know. I think that the Reaver is underrated, and I think that the Dreadhorde Invasion is overrated. But that said...
There's some cool tricks you could do. Like, you could bounce the Reaver, amass so that your amass token would be, even bigger, and then replay it, and then you'd have now, like, a 3/3 amass token.
What are you doing, man? You're out of control.
This is... Patrick, when you've got only amass cards in your deck, this is what you're doing. Don't ask. Your cards literally say, do like Like, I don't know. Do a thing that's probably not worth the total amount of mana in the top right. For example, making a 1/2 for 2. But amass. That's what all the cards say. Every one of them.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm just saying that's what they say.
Dude, how is Cruel Celebrant not just proof that Lauer exists and wants Sam Black to be happy? It's just it's the vampire, the white-black 1/2 that when Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
This card's really good, right?
Isn't this card extremely good?
Yeah, it's like really, really good.
Like, this is a blood artist that got +1/+1 for no reason, and it happens to work off planeswalkers.
So, one of the things with this card I think is real interesting is, like, it makes, like, any random, like, 1/1 token into Thorn Elemental. Right? You just, like, send your 1/1 token, and then they're like, all right, block it? And then they're like, all right, still take 1. They're like, don't block it. They're like, all right, take 1. It's Thorn Elemental. But if you have 2 Cruel Celebrants, like, you're going to mess them up if you have 2.
So I mean, I think, 2 things to call out. The first is, generally, I think that Cruel Celebrant being a 1/2, there's going to be plenty of spots where this is worth more. The extra stats are worth more than the blood artist keying off your opponent's stuff dying. But second of all, having the tribal synergy here, I can't help but wonder if you could play blood artist and Cruel Celebrant in some sort of a weird vampire modern deck.
Well, I don't know.
But it's like, really, you just want to use this with sack outlets, right? Like some sort of the lady with the name that everybody really likes in Rakdos. You love this card. Rakdos. Yes, Judith.
Well, I was thinking about a different 3-drop, like, that's also a legend. Is Cruel Celebrant not buddies with Maverin Fen?
That's okay. Yeah, I mean
like, making material is, like, the thing that Cruel Celebrant wants in life, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a bunch of black and white vampires. I mean,
it is a pretty on-the-nose card, right? Like, here's a tribe. Here's the colors of that tribe in Standard. It has a pretty good ability. Why don't you all jam them into a deck?
Man, sometimes I wonder, ever since Kaladesh, a lot of the sets have been a little bit more on rails, like the amount of weird personalized deck choices that are reasonable compared to just how much you got to follow the script. But who knows?
What is your opinion on Heartwarming Redemption?
Yeah, well, heartwarming, sure. It's vaguely heartwarming. So 2 red-white. Instant, discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards +1. You gain life equal to the number of cards in your hand. So, I think you have to really be in it for the life gain. Because I think that historically, discard your hand and then draw that many cards +1 wasn't really good for 3. And I don't think there's a particularly overabundant supply of graveyard interactions in Standard right now and ways to abuse the madness, blah, blah, blah. So you have to be in for the life gain, I think, which is fine if you are.
No, I think you have to be in for the life gain. I agree.
But it's half of Gerard's wisdom, right?
But it could be a lot of life gain, right? Like, you could...
5 or 7.
You could easily have 7. Like, that's especially if you're going to play for the play.
But you got to discard all your cards.
Yeah, but here's the thing where I thought that there might be some action on this. Discarding 7 cards at a time, right? Is that a way to get rid of your deck quick? Quick-ish?
Nah.
No?
Not quick enough. No, I don't want to be spending a mana per card and a half that I'm discarding or whatever. We got to get a better vig than that. We don't have that kind of time.
Oh, it gets you time, right? Like it gets you 7 or gets you 5 or something. And
maybe
also, like, if you don't have a good hand, I mean, I guess if your hand is good, you don't cast it.
If you don't have a good hand,
like, but if your hand is bad,
you are right. If you don't have a good hand, it's sweet.
It's like awesome if your hand stinks.
Woohoo! Yeah, no, it's sure. I think we can do better. There's just such high impact 4s and 5s
that is true. That is true. Like, it's real difficult for me to compare this to like any of the forecasting cost removal spells we've been talking about the past couple of weeks. All of them are insane. What do you think is the best proliferate card?
I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. So there's this exciting 2-drop that probably isn't going to be good because everybody can just kill it so easily. But the 1/1 flyer that when it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, proliferate. That guy's cheap, exciting, and fragile. I think Flux Channeler is going to be underrated by people and surprise them. I think Contentious Plan is like reliable and guaranteed to be mediocre.
How about the Raptor? Huatli's Raptor.
So Huatli's Raptor is like a proliferate card for somebody who doesn't honestly care about proliferating very much. It's just green-white, 2/3 vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, proliferate. You just get the one shot. I think this is like a proliferate card for a +1/+1 counters deck with like a Ajani, Ajani Adversary of Tyrants.
Oh, so it's not for a serious proliferator.
It's for a proliferator who's like tethered to reality. It's for a proliferator who uses stuff like Pledge of Unity. 1 green-white, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control at instant speed, and you gain 1 life for each creature you control.
You really, really think that the Selesnya guild is not a strong guild?
It does, Yeah, like it's a
Agreed.
Guild. It's a guild. But sometimes I have trouble seeing. I mean, it's fine. I think there's this pressure because of how much white doesn't really need green. Like, what's green bringing to the table that white doesn't already have?
The ability to exile 1 card from a graveyard.
White's literally got that. White has definitely got that ability.
Oh, no. For the same mana, white would exile all the cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Forever.
Okay, here's another card for the Arcadia Strategist deck. Teo the Shield Mage, 2 and a white for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker. Passive is you have hexproof. And then the -2 is create a 0/3 white wall. We talked about this with Defender. We talked about this briefly, but in the context of Arcadia Strategist, isn't this just like a great part of that plan?
Yeah, it like spits out multiple Watch Wolves, right?
They draw cards. And like if you just have this as part of the backup plan, it's like way better than drawing some of these dinky walls.
I think this card is just great, actually. Right? Like, especially.
Are you going to just play this in Blue-White Control?
I was thinking about playing it in Modern. It's just cheaper.
In Modern?
Yeah, it's just cheaper than Ivory Mask. I mean,
No, Ivory Mask
it's not cheaper than a ley line, right? But it is cheaper than a ley line sometimes.
You could use it in that's true. It's not bad. If you're going to play Ivory Mask, who plays Ivory Mask?
No. What I'm saying is an Ivory Mask and a ley line are the same, right? Except for the ley line is zeros.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you have to pay for the ley line. With Teo, it's cheaper than that, and it's fine, and it has another bit on its text box. So here's the thing: decks that care about you having a ley line in play often can't kill Teo.
Okay, I buy it. You talked me into it.
I think he's good. I think he's a solid. Also, he can't be disenchanted. People who are fighting against Ivory Masks often have stuff like, take out something for 4 life for G or 0 mana, make all the enchantments disappear. That's the kind of games that they play. They're not necessarily in the zone of attacking or killing An honest 3 casting cost, 5 loyalty planeswalker.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a pretty good point. What do you think of the? I mean, I don't even know the Casmina Enigmatic Mentor. The 3 and a blue, 5 loyalty planeswalker. Spells your opponent's cast that target a creature or planeswalker you control costs 2 more to cast. And its -2 is create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token, draw a card, then discard a card.
So it starts off with like basically like the Frost Titan ability. Is that it?
Yeah. For you and all your your stuff, your creatures, your planeswalkers, everybody.
But it's only spells, right? Like I think Frost Titan was spells or other.
It's true.
Other
yeah,
stuff.
It's only spells.
And then its other ability is -2, so you get this twice probably without some sort of outside interference. Make like a little 2/2 loot.
Yeah, but you also get you get a 2/2 and you loot.
I mean, do I have a pressing need to make multiple wizards? Is that a thing that I would want?
I think there's just too many other good 4s.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super.
Not even 4s. I want to be jamming Narset. You know, that's the planeswalker.
Narset is a much better card than this.
Yeah, I think so too. Here's a weirdo, but maybe not crazy. Bioessence Hydra. 3 green blue, 4/4 trample, and enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each loyalty counter on planeswalkers you control. And whenever 1 or more loyalty counters are put on planeswalkers you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Bioessence Hydra.
So I do think this is a weirdo card. It's super awesome, but like only if you're crushing them. Right?
No, why?
I mean, it's like
if you're crushing them?
Yeah, it's like so when it enters the battlefield, if you've got a bunch of planeswalkers, it's super
a bunch. Okay, here's a setup for you, man. You play Domri Chaosbringer, and then you play Bioessence Hydra. So Domri Chaosbringer goes up to 6 loyalty immediately, and on the next turn you have 7 loyalty on it, and it gives you 1 of the mana you need for the Hydra. And it gives the Hydra haste, and it's just an 11/11 trample haste.
So you're crushing them.
What, because you have a Domri?
I feel like I'd be crushing them in that situation.
What about
in my imagination, I had like 3 planeswalkers in play when I cast this.
Then you're already winning. I don't know what you need there.
Yeah, it is a weirdo.
But like I'm saying that like they're like this guy's good with 1, he's good with haste, but 2, he's good with these donk planeswalkers that just have a bunch of loyalty and abilities that aren't very good.
Yeah, but the problem is we wouldn't play most of those planeswalkers in Constructed.
Really? Maybe.
Why? Just would make the Bioessence Hydra better?
No. Some of them you would just play. Right? Like, for instance, in Days Gone By, how much would you play that Gideon who would just get like 15 loyalty counters on him?
Oh, the one who's like...
gain a million and nobody ever cares. It's just gain so much loyalty.
What was his ability? Like double the loyalty on Gideon or something?
No, just for every one of your creatures. It's just... Anyway, I would just keep an eye open because sometimes there's ways to just get like a bunch of loyalty for no good reason, and this guy turns it into at least a passable reason.
Okay.
Dude, what's up with Living Twister? Red, green for a 2/5. You can pay 1 in a red and discard a land to have Living Twister deal 2 damage to any target. And you can pay green and return a tapped land you control to its owner's hand.
I like how it's a tapped land because then, it really tells you can tap that land for mana and then return it. Right? That's very on the nose.
That's what you like about it, is how on the nose it is?
I mean, like, I think that the tappedness of the land is a kind of a silly thing to talk about. Right? Don't you? Like, why would you specify a tapped land?
Just the UI, making the UI work. I think just to protect people so that it'll work on arena easier.
It's just super on the nose. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, of course you would return a tap land. That's the one that you...
No, but by forcing them to do it, then the cards just... They can make the UI a lot quicker and smoother. But anyway, how good is the card, man?
I think it seems like a very good card, right? So it's 2/5 for 3, which is, you know, pretty hard to get.
Has never been playable.
Yeah, but its abilities are good.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing. Like, can you convert land and graveyard to card advantage, right? In some formats you can, very easily. Now, I'm not arguing that this is a great Modern card. Maybe it's a playable Modern card.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm skeptical.
Do you think this is not a playable Standard card?
Well, I'm saying I'm skeptical of it in Modern.
So, you know,
in Standard, it's a 2/5 that the ability could be tactically pretty solid. You know, like there's a little bit of Stormbind going on.
Yeah, but the game's better than Stormbind.
Right. And it hangs out doing stuff.
Yeah, so our discard a land to deal 2 was playable in Standard, 2 years ago.
Oh.
Without the ability to return land.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you have stuff like Nissa's Triumph, like there's cheap ways to get land.
That is a great combo. I'll give you that. That is a great combo.
Yeah, I think this card is pretty good. I'm not sure what deck would play it. I'm thinking Gruul. But I'm
is that because of the colors of the card?
Yes.
Nice.
You know what's like really kind of a punch in the gut on this? RRG. Right? Like, they really want you to work. Why isn't it like RG1? Or even GGR?
Too easy.
RRG that's...
It's also part of a cycle.
Yeah, but they're bending you. You see what I'm saying? That's hard.
I've heard that. So here's a proliferate card. Merfolk Skydiver. This is a proliferate card I can get behind. Blue-green, 1/1 flying Merfolk mutant. When Merfolk Skydiver enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it could get virtual haste if you wanted. Or just go on itself. But then it's got 3 green, blue proliferate. This card seems great to me.
Right, so this card is just Gaia Skyfolk Plus, right?
Plus on like multiple metrics.
Yeah, it even like just because it can just be like a 1/1 with a +1/+1 counter on itself. Proliferate, if nothing else, is just like an engine for the Skydiver for itself.
Right.
That's cool.
And like there are plenty of blue-green Merfolk decks, but even without it, I think just any sort of a +1/+1 counter-centric strategy would be, like maybe something that was playing Roll-esque Apex Hybrid, the 2 green, blue, 4/5 legendary creature team, a mutant 4/5 trample that when it enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, and when it dies, proliferate and then proliferate again. So like you're getting 6-7 were the stats up front, right? And you have this 4/5 flying trample, but then you're giving +2/+2 to something else. But like if this guy dies, proliferate twice is like. The only problem is that, like, why do they even want to kill this guy?
It's a 4/5 flying trample.
I guess. That's not the highest impact in the world.
For 5, yeah. I think that this card is not very great.
No?
No, I think it's, like, even if we're going to compare exciting 5s, Niv Mizzet Reborn is also 5, right? Like
Nicol Bolas, the one true dragon god.
This guy ain't no Niv Mizzet Reborn. Yeah, he's nowhere near as good as Teferi.
Like the classic bar.
Yeah, but those are the cards in Standard. Like, if you're going to be the guy, okay, what would you rather play? This or the new Sarkhan the Masterless?
Sarkhan.
Yeah. I'll name any 5. You'll like the 5 better than Roll-esque Apex Hybrid.
I could think of some 5s. I wouldn't.
No, but
like I'd rather play this over Ward Scale Crocodile.
Yeah, but 5s that you'd actually play, right?
Dude, 5/3 hexproof.
Yeah, play that.
You don't think so?
No.
No, I'm not gonna play.
I do not think you're going to play 5-3 hexproof for 5.
Dude, I was never an Autumn Willow sympathizer. I never played Autumn Willow. That was never my jam. I'm not one of those people.
Well, Autumn Willow was 4-4 for 6. So, and unbeatable in her era. Unless you had a Wrath. Or a Disc.
Yeah.
You just drew 10 more cards than your opponent and just...
No, I just kept being like, okay, I guess I'll shoot you for 2 with my Orchestra Artillery. I take 3.
Or, you could just put guys in front of it, right, and block while you did your other stuff.
What do you think of Red Hero's Downfall? Sarkhan's Catharsis. Instant. Deal 5 damage to target player or planeswalker. I guess it's not really Hero's Downfall if it's hitting players. It's more like a Lava Axe. But,
Well, this is just like a Lava Axe that could hit a Planeswalker, but a Lava Axe used to be able to hit a Planeswalker. So it just made
this
it
one's
so it could
instant.
hit a Planeswalker again. Yeah, this has about the playability of a Lava Axe.
I would play it in draft more than Lava Axe. Being able to actually play it against Planeswalkers in a format where there are Planeswalkers.
Yeah, I'm just saying, under old rules, a Lava Axe could hit a Planeswalker. That's all.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that Lava Axe wasn't being printed in sets with Planeswalkers, or it would have been sweet.
I think that you would play this to kill a Planeswalker if you thought your opponents had Planeswalkers. I don't think this is likely to be a very popular constructed card. But I might be wrong. I'm not. Definitely not wrong on that one.
Dude, isn't Grim Initiate really good? I know we briefly touched on this, but now there's a little more context. It's like there's a real shortage of good cards that cost 1. Red, 1/1 first strike, and when it dies, amass 1.
Yeah, so Grim Initiate he's like the Hunted Witness for R. His body is better than a Hunted Witness's body because first strike is better than not first strike. But
sort of.
What if you're trying to get it killed? Then
right.
it's not better. But I gotta say, I think a random amass 1 is probably worse than a 1/1 lifelink most of the time.
Right.
But I still think it'd be pretty good. Do you think this is played in like a red aggro deck, or do you think it's played in like some combo, like some Sam Black
Judith deck?
Judith, yeah, I think it's probably good in Judith deck.
Yeah, I want to play some kind of Judith deck. Plus, you never know. There's a few ways to care about zombies. You might get freaky. It gets lonely sometimes in Dominaria. Like, whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target. So you can just play with 8 Judiths. Sort of. I mean, it's obviously not just things dying. You have to literally sacrifice a permanent. But, like, if you just play with sack outlets, isn't this card like another Judith if you just want to have redundancy?
This Judith deck is getting real thick. That's my comment. Yeah, we've got 8 Judiths, but our deck is 144 cards. We actually have lower than average Judith concentration as a result. Turn 15, rip a Grim Initiate. What have I done with myself?
I don't know, man. Where are you starting now besides Nika Bolas? I mean, if you got to build a deck that doesn't have Bolas, what's caught your eye the most? Where do you want to end on? Where do you want to end on?
Like end the episode?
Like forever. Like, what's the card you're going to be stranded on a deserted island? This is the last card you ever have to build around.
Oh, it would be a dim visit because that's the most exciting. If that's the criteria, we're like, oh, well, if this is my last party, then at least let's make it a loud one. No, I don't know. I think like Oath of Kaya, Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord is a good place to start if I'm not playing with Grixis colors. I think those. That's a fine cat. I think that like Bolas's Citadel seems so powerful to me.
How are you going to use Bolas's Citadel?
I don't know. I feel like Experimental Frenzy was really good, and this is like Experimental Frenzy that I get my hand back.
You're going to really have to do something about the mana in your deck.
I don't know.
You're going to need ways to reset the top of your deck.
How about casting the cards that are on top?
No, what about when they're land?
Yeah, but I've got like all those revitalizes and bonds to hook me up.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. I think it's going to take a lot of work. But maybe. Could be busted.
But I'm not sure where you escape to. That's the thing, right? Like, let's say you did it, right? Is it really just like to pay off on the 10 life tap thingy?
But I think that if you do it, you draw your whole deck. It's ad nauseum, and you just win the game. Right? Like I think you get everything. You've seen it all.
All right, going for it then.
So you're in for Bolas's Citadel?
I think it's really, 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 really powerful. Although I would be more happy, I think, if Lich's Mastery ended up being good because we had 8 revitalizes. Like I think I'm secretly in my heart of hearts, that's the warms my soul.
Dude, isn't Toll of the Invasion an Amass card worth considering? Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-lane card from it. That player discards that card, and then amass 1.
Yeah, like the Amass Coercion.
Dude, this is just like that 1/1 before. That instead of flying, it just doesn't give them the card back if they kill the 1/1. Isn't this card really good? Not really good, but like borderline playable. No, isn't this card?
Yeah, maybe. I think it's good in situations where like maybe a sideboarded game where they take out a lot of their creature removal because you don't have a lot of creatures, and so you could use Soul of the Invasion to like take a planeswalker out of their hand. But then, if you need a creature to attack a planeswalker, it will give you one also. That's what I think about it.
It gives you something to sacrifice if you ever need to sacrifice a creature, whether it's to your own thing or your opponent's. You know, like protecting your stuff.
I think that 3 mana is a very high bar for just a 1-for-1 discard spell, but it's not.
It's not a 1-for-1. This is a 2-for-1.
Well, the discard part is a 1-for-1, and then I get to amass. I mean, it might be a +1/+1 counter in my deck.
Stop it. Stop.
Look, I bounced their guy. I told Invasion. Then I attacked for 2. Plan came together.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, these are all a lot of fine, sweet, awesome, cool cards. But I'm playing Nika Bolas Dragon God. All right. I gotta fly back to London. I'll see you on the other side, man. Time to play some modern. Dude, it sickens me though that this set isn't legal for modern because man, I would enjoy playing Nika Bolas Dragon God in London, but maybe next time.
GL.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Life didn't work so great. Tried to play dredge, so jailer hate. Ghostly prison waiting for my untapped phase. Your core trapped in amber stasis state. Lost a lot of friends, got left